Abu Lahab, if he is mentioned, animosity and hatred of the Prophet ﷺ is imprinted and embedded in your mind. But for a period of time, Allah made out of him a protector to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who made, help me out here, who made out of one of the top notorious enemies of Islam a man to defend the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam for a period of time. Allah. You stand your ground, especially in matters of principles. Have yaqeen and watch what Allah is going to do. Allah will make a way out. Allah will make a way out where there seems to be no way out. That is Allah. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way out for you. The one who has control over minds more than I control my mind can bring victory and power. He controls minds more than one controls his own mind. It is Allah, the one who can come between a person and his mind. وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَحُولُ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَقَلْبِهِ. Do you understand the Quran? Abu Lahab, تَبَّتْ يَدَا أَبِي لَهَبٍ وَتَبْ, who said, don't believe him, he's a liar. The man who led a media campaign against the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, harming the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Suddenly he says, ليخرج ابن أخي لما يريد ومن اقترب منه بسوء دققت عنقه بسيفي. Something that doesn't enter mind. I can understand when Abu Talib was defending the Prophet ﷺ. Abu Talib was alive, he defended the Prophet ﷺ. Abu Talib never became a believer. He played but he never at the same time played a role in harming the Prophet ﷺ. His image was that of a wise man, a calm man who didn't believe, but he defended. Here you have the notorious uncle who harmed him for 10 years, so suddenly defended him. The one we say Allah Akbar, Akbar, wanted it and it happened. He's Akbar. Do you really believe he's Akbar? Ya Muhammad, امضي لما أردت وما كنت صانعا إذ كان أبو طالب حيا فاصنع. He told Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, go about in your business. Do exactly what you were doing while my brother Abu Talib was alive. Go ahead, spread your message. لا واللات والعزى لا يوصل إليك حتى أموت. By the Lat and the Uzza, no one will touch you until I die. The Prophet ﷺ went out in da'wah for a time period, protected by the most notorious enemy of his. Allah, Sunnah Allah, the work of Allah. It is Allah who extracts protection from the head of the kufr to the head of Islam. Allah, that's Allah. Ibn al-Ghaytila cursed the Prophet one time after Abu Lahab said this, or right before. Do you know who attacked him and physically beat him? No other than Abu Lahab. Abu Lahab heard he cursed the Prophet, he ran to him and beat him. The troublemakers now, the people of fitan, the instigators, go to Abu Lahab. Uqba ibn Abi Ma'yad and Abu Jahl, Uqba and Abu Jahl, they went, they heard what Abu Lahab is doing. They said, are you defending, this defending of the Prophet, is it stemming from your belief in him? Did you believe in him? Asaba'ta? Or is it kinship? He said kinship. They breathed a sigh of relief. At least it's not as bad as they thought it was. At least he's still on our religion. Then they took it a step further. They used Abu Lahab's Jahiliyyah kinship zeal for defending the Prophet ﷺ against him. They said, go ask Muhammad where your father is. Is he in heaven or in hell? Meaning, you defended him, Abu Lahab, you're defending him because he's your nephew. Okay, just go ask him where his dad is. Our father, our leader, where is he? Muhammad's grandfather, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where is he? The one, he gave birth to you. He's your father. Where is he, in heaven or hell? Go ask your nephew. They told Abu Lahab, go ask your nephew where your father is. Abu Lahab went to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, come here Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Where's my father? These are lessons to take heed from. Pay attention to the circumstances. He was just right there, he lost his internal support, it's gone. His external support is gone. He's a man alone, one man alone, a ummah in himself. The Prophet ﷺ is weak and lonely. one of the weakest points of da'wah. Ghuraba, no one knows that but a true da'iyah who faces the circumstances which you feel and go through. He was so weak and lonely that Allah revealed to him Surah Yusuf to make him feel better, and then took him to the heavens in Isra right at that time, because it was one of the weakest points of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Everyone was against him. Today, the deluded, watered down, wishy-washy Muslims would have said, come on Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, tell him his father's in Jannah, let's get it over with, just win him over, tell him his father's in Jannah. The namby-pamby of today would have told the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we need the superpower of Abu Lahab to protect us. Don't be a radical. Come on, just clip your wala and bara a little bit and tell him what he wants to hear so he won't harm us. The spineless, the gutless of today would have cried, wisdom, go gradual on the kid. They would have said, go gradual on Abu Lahab. Go. The topsy-turvy who suckled their version of Islam from the intelligence of the West instead of from deriving it from the Quran and Sunnah would have told the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you're weak, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you're weak. This is a small window of da'wah opportunity. Interfaith. Yeah, interfaith. Tell him, make it broad. Make it seem like it's broad. All the Abrahamic religions, well, they're all going to heaven. They're all going to be in Jannah. All of them. Tell him what he wants to hear. Then after he becomes Muslim, we'll sit him down. You leave that to us. We'll sit him down and teach him that his father is really in hell. Tell him his father is in Jannah because he's now protecting you. You owe him some favors. He will kill and torture you and us. That's what the deviant people of today would have said. But full of confidence, full of yaqeen in Allah, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, your father is with his people. Ma'a qawbih. He went, Abu Lahab walked away. He went told Uqba and Abu Jahl, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam just said, my father is with my people. Uqba and Abu Jahl knew what the Prophet meant. That he's in hell. They knew exactly what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam meant. And they were right. They knew and they were sure about it. They told Abu Lahab, go ask him what he meant when he said ma'a qawmi, he's with his people. Let him make it clear to you. What did he mean? They know, Abu Lahab did it. Abu Lahab returns. Imagine the pressure that would be on a man in a predicament that the Prophet ﷺ in. That's why I mentioned to you the circumstances around the story. On one hand, you have the biggest leader of his time, an ex-enemy defending him heart and soul, and you owe him favors for defending you. On the other hand, it's the laws and rules of Allah, the Sharia of Allah. The Prophet had the opportunity, and it's going to cause him harm. The Prophet ﷺ had the opportunity to sugarcoat it. He could have sugarcoated it. His answer, when Abu Lahab returned, he said, Muhammad, did you mean my father? Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Did you mean my father is in hell? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Naam. وَمَنْ مَاتَ عَلَى مِثْلِ مَا مَاتَ عَلَيْهِ عَبْدُ الْمُطَّلِبِ دَخَلَ النَّارِ. Yes, that's exactly what I meant. Not only that, him and who died on what he died on is in hell. Allah, it don't matter who is in before you. Allah is going to protect you. Allahu khayrun hafidha. Abu Lahab on the spot said, I'm your enemy forever, and began to harm the Prophet ﷺ and encourage others to harm him and torture him. لا برحت لك عدوا وأنت تزعم أن عبد المطلب في النار فاشتد عليه هو وسائر قريش. He flipped on the Prophet ﷺ and he encouraged others to flip on him and harm him more. The Prophet could have avoided that with one word. He could have sugarcoated it. Are you telling me the Prophet ﷺ had no wisdom? Are you trying to tell me he threw himself and the few believers into danger? At one of the darkest moments of the Prophet ﷺ's da'wah life, why didn't the Prophet ﷺ give him a word to please him to overcome that dark era? Why didn't the Prophet ﷺ say, he is with his people and keep it at that? Or Allah knows best. We got fundamental principles there's no compromise on, no matter what. No matter what the consequences are. Some teachings We don't accept graduality in them. You have to see them how they are. You have to see them how they are. You got to implement them how they are. Why didn't the Prophet ﷺ say, look, Abu Lahab, give me a few days, gather a few believers around and vote on it. Let's vote on it. What is Abu Abdul Muttalib in Jannah or Jahannam? Gather a few of the Sahaba there and vote on it. Let's vote on it. You don't play games like that with the laws of Allah. It's not a game to be played with. I don't care what alim gave a fatwa on that. That's the laws of Allah. You don't vote. Who are you to vote on it and accept that? Do you think the Prophet ﷺ didn't know he was weak? Do you think the Prophet ﷺ didn't know what the consequence of telling him his dad is in hell would be? Do you think he didn't know all that? But there's no compromise on principles. I'm sorry to tell you that. That's the religion of Allah. Telling him his father is in hell is a principle? Ahmad, are you in your right mind? Yes, that's a principle. How? That's one of the reasons I tell you that interfaith is a religion of kufr. It's not Islam. It's the religion of kufr. Non-believers, even under Muslim rule, have a right to remain on their false belief. We have to know it's false. We spoke on that. And Islam will not compel. لا إكراه في الدين. They are أهل الذمة. Under Muslim rule, they are protected. And they have rights. Even as far as rights as we give them welfare to survive. Part of our belief is anyone who got the message and dies a non-believer, he's in hell. It's a principle. No sugarcoat in it. When the Prophet tells him his father is going to Jannah, that means, number one, that the Prophet ﷺ is going against clear verses in a hadith that he spoke about. Principles. That's what the wicked people of interfaith do today. That's why one of the many reasons that it's a kufr religion, the interfaith. When the Prophet tells him that his father who died non-believer is in heaven, that means Abdul Muttalib is right. Because that means he's going to heaven. Only right people go to heaven. That entails those who follow Abdul Muttalib are on the right path as well. They're all in Jannah. Because they followed him, he's in Jannah. They followed him, he's in Jannah. Who are the opponents in belief to Abdul Muttalib? The Prophet ﷺ and his followers. Those who oppose the people of Jannah, had the Prophet told them he's in Jannah, are where? That means the Prophet and his people are in hell. That's why it's a principle. If he would have told him your father is in Jannah, he's going against the clear verses and laws of Allah. That means those who oppose the people of Jannah, like Abdul Muttalib and Abu Lahab, are evil. And that's the Prophet ﷺ and his people. That's why he told him your father is in hell. It's a principle. It's the same principle that Allah's laws must govern our lands. It's a principle. Same principle, same type of principle. The problem we have is that hearts are detached. They're detached from Allah. We talk a lot about yaqeen and belief in Allah, but they're detached from Allah. That's the reality of our ummah. And they're attached to earthly means and everything but Allah. That's a reality. Let's not fool ourselves.